Hey guys, come on downstairs to the basement. We're playing Minnesota Twins franchise today. It's episode number 102. We begin our final road trip of year number 2 of our Twins franchise. We are at Detroit at Comerica Park for a 3-game series to kick off this final road trip. The first game of the series is game number 148 of the year. The Tigers rout us 15-6 for their 75th win. Detroit still has an outside shot at the playoffs. Anibal Sanchez with the win for the Tigers. Kyle Gibson gets the loss for us. He only lasted 2 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits, 8 runs, walked 3 batters, and struck out 1 on the day. Probably his worst outing of the year. All right, we are going to jump into the AAA playoffs here. It is Game 1 of the International League Championship Series between the Rochester Red Wings and the Durham Bulls. First 2 games of the series will be in Durham, North Carolina. The final 3, would be in Rochester, New York, if they were necessary. Bottom of the second inning, Jose Barrios facing Casey Gillespie with bases loaded and 2 outs. Gillespie skies it to center field, and Tanner English is underneath it, and the Red Wings get out of an early jam. Durham does score a run earlier in the inning to lead 1-0. Fourth inning now. Justin O'Connor at the plate with 2 outs and a 1-0 count. O'Connor drives it deep to right field. Going back is Andrew Tolles, and Andrew Tolles makes the catch on the run. To end the 4th inning, it's still 1-0 Bulls. Casey Gillespie up again now. He's 1 for 2 on the day with a double back in the first. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning, Jose Barrios leaves one up in the strike zone, and Gillespie drives it to right center field, and that one gets out. Casey Gillespie with the home run. A solo blast, and that puts the Bulls up 2-0 here in Game 1, the end of 5. Tanner English now, the Red Wings center fielder, steps into the box. With 2 outs and an 0-2 count to Tanner English. The delivery, and English swings through the fastball. And Andriese with a 5-hit shutout to this point of the game. We go to the 7th inning. Raimel Tapia, 3 for 3 with 3 singles. Again, we got him from the Colorado Rockies in the Phil Hughes deal. And Tapia drives one into the gap in left center field. Runner from first is heading around second. They're going to wave him home. Tapia is headed towards third. Here comes the relay. Throw to third, and it's not in time. Tapia is in with a triple that drives in Rochester's first run. Dana Eveland into the game now to pitch, making his 4th appearance. He's got a 2.25 ERA here in the postseason. With Raimel Tapia on third, Andrew Tolles steps into the box. It's lefty on lefty, an 0-2 count. And Tolles drives this one into left field. The left fielder's underneath it, and he's going to make the play to end the inning. But Rochester gets on the board with the Tapia triple. And the Red Wings hand the ball to Tyler Chatwood. Down 1 run. He's facing Nick Franklin. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, a 1-2 count. Nick Franklin turns this one around to right field. That one's headed back. And it is into the grass in right field on the other side of the wall. A solo home run for Nick Franklin, and it is 3-1. Durham with the lead in Game 1. And Durham holds on to win. They take a 1-0 series lead. Jose Barrios goes 4 2/3, gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. He threw a ton of pitches. That's why he was pulled from the game pretty early. Matt Andriese, 6.2 innings, 7 hits, a run, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Steve Geltz gets the save for the Durham Bulls, who are the Tampa Bay Rays AAA Farm Club. So, Durham takes a 1-0 series lead over in the Pacific Coast League. Tacoma and Colorado Springs are tied at 1 in their series as we head to ILCS game number 2, the second and final game of the series that will be in Durham, North Carolina. Raimel Tapia, he is batting .500 in the postseason with a home run and 2 RBIs. He's our leadoff hitter. And Tapia steps in the top of the first. He drives this one into the right center field gap. That one's going to 2-hop the wall. Tapia is headed to second, and he's making the turn, but he's going to hold up at second base. So later on in the inning, with the bases loaded, Guerrieri facing Reynaldo Rodriguez, who's batting .263 with 2 outs. A chance for the Red Wings to break this one open, and it gets over the right fielder's head. 1 run comes in to score. The second comes in as well. Tanner English is rounding third, and he will score easily. A base-clearing double for Reynaldo Rodriguez, and the Red Wings jump out 3-0. Second inning. James Beresford into the box. He hit a home run last series against Toledo, and he slices this one into left field. It drops in fair. A run will score, and Beresford is heading into second with a stand-up double. So another run on the board for the Red Wings. Puts them up 4-0 in the middle of 2. Trying to even up this series at 1 game apiece. Here is Chi-Wei Hugh making his second appearance for the Bulls. He is facing... I can't remember who number 4 is, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, a hit out to center field, and Mikey Matuk takes care of it. It's 4-0 Rochester. Here's Johnny Field. 0 for 2 with a strikeout in the third. 2 outs, ground ball. Played by Workman at second. And he makes the play. It's 4-0 Rochester at the end of 5. We skip ahead to the 7th inning. Brandon Peterson, making his second appearance, has yet to give up a run in the postseason, and he will face the Bulls' Patrick Leonard with a runner on second and 2 outs. Still 4-0 Rochester. The delivery from Peterson, and Leonard strikes out swinging to end the 7th inning. Rochester working on a shutout. Here in game number 2, we go to the 8th inning. Raimel Tapia at the plate again with a runner on first and 2 outs. And Tapia slices this one into left field. That one is tailing towards the line. Runner rounds second. Tapia's headed to second. They're waving the runner around third, and he's going to come in and will score. And Tapia ends up at second with an RBI double, making it 5-0. Here's Andrew Tolles now. Andrew Tolles rips it into right field. That one's going to drop in front of the right fielder. Tapia comes in to score, and it is 6-0. And that is what the score ends up as. 6-0 win for the Red Wings. Evens up the ILCS at 1 game apiece. Raimel Tapia 3 for 5 with a pair of doubles and an RBI. Reynaldo Rodriguez 3 for 5 with that base clearing double, has 3 RBIs. James Beresford 3 for 5 with a double and an RBI. Engel Vilma, that is who number 4 is. I'm sorry about that. Engel Vilma is number 4 for us. He is the second baseman, and Beresford is the third baseman for us. So the series is all tied up at 1, as is the Tacoma Colorado Springs series. So back to the big league club in game number 149, the second game of the series with the Tigers. Detroit wins at 7-4. Kyle Ryan gets the win for them. Jim Johnson with the loss for the Twins. He only pitched 2/3 of an inning. Justin Upton went 2 for 3 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs on the day. Adam Lind also added a home run for Detroit. So we fall to 63-86 with one more game left in this series with Detroit. But we're back to the AAA postseason. Birch Smith and Tyler J, your 2 starters for game number 3. And it is the first of potentially 3 here in Rochester, New York, between these 2 teams to finish up the series to see who will play for the AAA championship out of the International League. With the bases loaded, a drive deep to center field by Durham is going to be caught by Tanner English. The runner is going to tag and come in and score as Vilma cuts it off at second. Woodrow Robinson steps in now. Run comes in to score for Durham. They lead 1-0 with 2 outs. Here's a 3-2 count. The delivery from Tyler J. And Robinson hacks and misses at the fastball. He strikes out to end the inning, and the Red Wings only give up 1 run. We go to the second inning. With a runner on first and 2 outs, the delivery from Smith is swung on and missed by shortstop Bucky Workman. And at the end of 2, it's still 1-0 Bulls. Very pivotal game in this series that's tied at 1. The team who loses this will have their backs against the wall. Here's Johnny Field in the 6th inning with nobody on. And Johnny Field takes the fastball looking. And a strikeout by Tyler J. Next batter is Mikey Matuk, and he also looks at a pitch in the strike zone for strike number 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tyler J. And at the middle of 6th, it's still 1-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, Raimel Tapia steps in. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts on the day. With 1 out, Tapia swings through the fastball from Smith. And both pitchers pitching really well at this point in the game. Still 1-0 Bulls at the end of the 6th. On a rainy day in Rochester, New York, or a rainy night, I should say. Tony Barnett comes into the game now for the Bulls as they turn it over to the bullpen. And the Red Wings are happy to see the bullpen come in because Smith dominated them for 6 innings or however long he went. Here's Angel Vilma. Vilma with runners on the corners and 2 outs. The 1-2 delivery, and Vilma swings and misses, but the ball gets away from the catcher. The runner on third's heading to the plate, and he will score on the strikeout, but the ball gets away from the catcher, and somehow Rochester gets fortunate enough to tie this game up. It ends up tied. We go to extra innings all the way into the 14th when Enny Romero comes in for the Bulls. Tanner English is at the plate for the Red Wings. Runner on first with 1 out. Here's the delivery. English rips it over the head of the shortstop into the gap. That one's going to get all the way to the wall. Runner from first rounding second. They're going to wave him around. Here comes the relay. Here's the throw to the plate. And it is not in time. The Red Wings walk it off to win Game 3. And take the 2-1 series lead here in the ILCS Championship. So a 2-1 victory in 14 innings, and the Red Wings take the series lead 2-1 in Game 3. Enny Romero gets the loss for Durham. Tyler Chatwood with the win for the Red Wings. Reynaldo Rodriguez went 3 for 5. Travis Harrison went 1 for 3. James Beresford 2 for 6 with a double. Tanner English 1 for 5 with a double and the game-winning RBI. For the Bulls, Casey Gillespie 2 for 6 with a double. And you see the brackets here. Rochester's up 2-1, and the Tacoma Rainiers are up 2-1 over the Colorado Springs Sky Sox. All right, the final game of this Detroit-Minnesota series. The Tigers win at 5-3, so they sweep the series here in Detroit. Tigers win the season series 12-6, as that's the last time we'll see Detroit this season. Alex Meyer gets the loss for us. Goes 5 innings, gives up 5 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The winning pitcher for Detroit is Shane Green. Nick Castellanos went 3 for 4 with a home run, a triple, and a double, and was just a single away from the cycle. Up next, we have the New York Mets in a short 2-game series from Citi Field in New York. That'll be Twins Franchise episode number 103 as we roll towards the end of season number 2 here on Twins Franchise on Mama's Basement Sports Gaming.